Let us begin with the Serenity Prayer. Logic, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. This is Alcoholic Atheists Anonymous. The only AA meeting where I'll have a beer with you. This is AANA because I don't know. Couldn't think of anything else. Nothing else, no. I keep thinking I was talking about starting like a secular sobriety group. Obviously, I'm like the most qualified individual to do that, And I kept told my buddy, I was like, I'm not going to this fucking meetings. And he's like, why don't you go to the fucking meetings, man? I was like, well, okay, there's secular meetings and stuff. And I just came to realize, I was like, I've been having the meetings. These are the meetings. I mean, the ones where I don't get shitty drunk and make a total fool of myself. But, I mean, it's still kind of the same thing, though, isn't it? No. Not really. So I got this. Some folks came down and left me this literature from the local, recovery groups. Which actually, I like this just for the day mantras here. So that's just for today mantras I'm going to read because they are not like loaded with religious shit, other than the prayer or whatever. I thought these were pretty good. Just for today, I will try to live through this day only and not tackle my whole life problem at once. I can do something for 12 hours that would appall me if I felt that I had to keep it up for a lifetime. Just for today, I will be happy. This assumes to be true what Abraham Lincoln said, that most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. Just for today, I will adjust myself to what is, and not try to adjust everything to my own desires. I will take my luck as it comes and fit myself to it. Just for today, I will try to strengthen my mind. I will study. I will learn something useful. I will not be a mental loafer. I will read something that requires effort, thought, and concentration, like this pamphlet. Just for today, I will exercise my soul in 3 ways. I will do somebody a good turn and not get found out. If anybody knows of it, it will not count. I will do at least 2 things I don't want to do, just for exercise. I will not show anyone that my feelings are hurt. They may be hurt, but today I will not show it. Just for today, I will be agreeable. I will look as well as I can, dress becomingly, talk low, act courteously, criticize not one bit, not find fault with anything, and not try to improve or regulate anybody except myself. Just for today, I will have a program. I may not follow it exactly, but I will have it. I will save myself from 2 pests, hurry and indecision. Just for today, I will have a quiet half hour all by myself and relax. During this half hour, sometime, I will try to get a better perspective of my life. Just for today, I will be unafraid. Especially, I will not be afraid to enjoy what is beautiful and to believe that as I give to the world, so the world will give to me. So, yeah, actually not bad. Not bad. Well, Bob, what do you reckon? Bill, I reckon that man has a drinking problem. Duh. Look, nobody said I was, nobody ever said I didn't have a drink. No, wait, no. I said that. But, We're adjusting to what is. I just tripped out for a second. But the colors on my scarf. Anyway, I thought I had something that I definitely don't have. Stuff's got bite to it. All right, so I made a list. Made a little list. It's been a long couple of days, so probably another short one. We're expecting the battery jump starter to arrive today, but I think the woman in the house is probably already in bed. She had to work this morning, so maybe I'll just have to wait till morning to get that car jumped. It doesn't really make a difference at this point because I'm going to be here anyway and hopefully be able to go home and do some normal ape shit because you know I love being in the dark room. The California Exodus. A lot of people have been going on for a while about this great California Exodus, which has actually like always been happening. It's been for fucking years. It used to be the people. People still do. People, to be fair, people still flock to California, and they always count the numbers going outward, which are obviously higher. It's harder to survive in California. Not a lot of people do. Or some people stay here for years and they can't get ahead, so they finally decide, fuck it, I'm going elsewhere. Or some people, they work here, try to make, a boatload of money, hopefully, that's kind of the idea. But then they, will try to save it and then, retire elsewhere where they, So there's all these different things going on. I hear a lot of people talking now. They're saying because of the growing homeless population and because we seem to have so many drug addicts and criminals, which I don't think proportionally that's actually accurate. We just have more fucking people. But these are the reasons that they say, I'm going to go elsewhere because I think there would be less drugs and crime and unhomed people. Because unhomed people tend to inconvenience me a lot, right? Or are they just unsightly to look at? So after having a little chat, a couple little chats with some of my superiors, right? Not in my company, but whatever. I'm like, so this is the thing. Like these guys, as far as the political affiliations of a lot of this smudge is really bugging me. I can't get it off. I want to go lens way. The political alignment of a lot of people in the higher echelon of the public service sector seems to be pretty conservative. It also makes sense because a lot of them are older people, and older people tend to become more conservative, I guess, and which explains kind of the big difference. I've noticed that when certain people come a knocking, right, come a walking by, I'll notice that many of my friends who are patrons, who I talk to on a regular basis, say, "Oh no, not that person. That person is such a this and such a so and so." Like, oh, why do they think that? Because I tend to have pleasant interactions with them. They seem like. And then you come to find out it's because that person has a bias maybe towards a particular group of people. And so they tend to treat that particular group of people a certain way that you wouldn't think they would. And then when you talk to them about it, their attitude seems to reflect that. And a lot of people tend to think of others' circumstances relative to theirs. Like, I don't look at somebody who is unhomed and think, man, why can't they get a job? Well, I think, why can't they get a job? But I don't think it in the sense that, like, oh man, all they need is a job and all their problems would be solved. I mean, no, no. Clearly there's something deeper going on here, and there's a reason that they're in the situation that they're in the first place. And you have to, like, whatever that is. It could be substance abuse, it could be mental illness, it could be some combination of those things, it could be something completely different that you know nothing about, right? What the fuck is wrong with this pen? This pen has been serving me well for so long. Maybe time to retire it. But what compels people to think this way? Is it upbringing? Is it their understanding of the world that says that everybody who has problems because they're not disciplined enough? Or do we just cease to be empathetic at some point? Say, well, that person had a shitty upbringing, but at some point they have to grow out of it. They have to, that's what we have to, they have to, and only a smaller school of people think in terms of something like fitting society around damaged people, right? And generally, those people are damaged people who are like, hey, can you work with me, please? Can you work with me? And when I say damaged, I mean all sorts of things, whether they're ill, whether they're traumatized, which trauma can be a type of illness, right? So I don't want to lump those two categories together, though, right? And like in my conversation with William last night, which I wanted to kind of go and review some of that, especially the abortion part. This fucking pen's gonna piss me off. I got that feeling from William. We didn't get too deep into it, but certain projects that are social projects, and that is socialism. And yes, that is correct. And we have social programs for this reason, right? Because we have this increasing number of people in society who cannot function with the rest of everyone, right? Or if they do, it's at some kind of a baseline level where we just have an understanding that, hey, you just have to kind of behave and go along, otherwise we're going to incarcerate you, right? Because that's generally what we threaten people with. We threaten people with incarceration and isolation, and that's, other than, using some form of corporal punishment, it's either that or, a permanent state of psychological torment and torture. And it's literally torture. You can be torturing somebody, right? You're trying to break them of that habit, and you see it maybe as a tool, a device for retraining a person, but it can amount to torture in some instances, right? For people who are just not equipped, right? Like my situation. There's a perfect moment there where if things hadn't come together in my mind, back in February, I could have fucking snapped. I could have snapped like a fucking rubber band, right? I was almost there. And the only thing that actually worked was fucking compassion. That's the thing that I saw that worked. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of hard shit, snuck in with that compassion, but I'm able to discriminate what that is, whereas other people, they cannot discriminate it, and it breaks their fucking brains, man. And they can't trust people anymore. If they can't trust their own senses, how the fuck are they going to trust you, right? And when you fuck with people on this level, it can tend to have some ramifications, unintended consequences. No, I mean, I'm just saying, that this is the way people do things. And it's a very Christian mentality. Christians tend to think this way, which is why I don't like fucking religious, recovery groups. Because I'm constantly hearing from other people in my life who attend these things on a regular basis about how fucking nosy and up in people's business other people are, right? and how they're like, well, if you're going to be a part of this group, and yeah, it's about transparency for sure. I mean, people want to know that you're coming to the group with the right, mentality, the right frame of mind. And, there's a big thing in like the NA program that I've heard about, more specifically like Narcotics Anonymous, where males will go in there, they'll become involved with a female, and then, well, somehow, whatever, it devolves into a relapse. The relationship turns into a relapse, and the males get demonized for this. So it seems to be, I mean, they generally frown upon a lot of, couplehoods in recovery programs, but they tend to put the onus, like in many other occasions, on the male. And, so men will get pushed out quite quickly in these types of environments merely because they had a relapsed or failed bad relationship in the group. And they're like, all right, you're the dude, you go away, right? That's the way these things work. And mind you, these people are all up in your shit. So they know all the fucking dirty business, right? They're gossiping. But nobody ever holds the woman accountable. No. I've heard that I should stop using the word female. I'm specifically talking about biological females at this point, so I don't think it really, whatever. But women in general, I mean, the way we treat women as opposed to men, I don't see how it's, so far detached other than we're talking about sex and gender, and I get that, but, I still feel that the terms in this instance are kind of interchangeable. So I also recently read one of Bree's posts. I guess using spaz as a pejorative is also ableist, right? Like, because it's like a hard R word or something. Like, apparently it refers to people with cerebral. See, I always say cerebral, but I'm supposed to say cerebral palsy, X-Men or something. Yeah, so apparently it refers to the involuntary spasms that those people have, and that's what they mean when they say spaz. And I've never really thought about that. So another interesting thing to note. All right, what else did you notice about the shy girl, that shy woman out there that I was talking about briefly, who was, afraid to approach anyone for help, well, she wasn't afraid to approach the bus drivers, but she was very timid in that regard, obviously. I think if she had approached the bus drivers more directly, they probably would have responded to her differently as well. But what else did I notice about that person that I didn't mention before? Well, what I noticed about that person, first and foremost, was the fact that they were wearing kind of a different sort of head covering, a hat, right? That didn't seem to fit the outfit, didn't seem to fit the situation, right? Like the hat kind of matched the outfit, but it wasn't like within the style. It was like a Gilligan hat or something, right? And it seemed like she was trying to cover her face a bit and maybe to appear more boyish, which makes sense in terms of, trying to not be preyed upon. But there's another thing. What I noticed, registered to me, and I thought it, but I didn't say anything about it. Didn't seem to be important. Was that there seemed to be a bunch of disposed tags in the pockets of the bag she was carrying, like, or there was a tag still attached. So what I gathered from that is that the person had probably stolen the clothing, maybe some other merchandise from a department store, maybe nearby. I don't know. I don't know where that department store is, right? But it seemed very obvious to me that either they had just bought the stuff or they had just taken the stuff and clipped all the tags off of it hastily stuffed them in the side pocket where they were still visible. Amateur thief from a very unassuming person. But when you think about it, a young um, woman in the clothing section at the department store taking boys' clothes, wouldn't be something you would usually look for. She could be a young mother. It could be a bunch of things, right? So never judge a book by its cover, because when you notice little things like that, I mean, I know, there's a good deal of people, unhomed people who go from place to place, because I used to do this myself, go from place to place, subtly change appearance, go innocently shopping in some random chain store and pop out with a bunch of free merchandise because you didn't really have money in the first place, right? What else are you going to do? And I see this all the time, and the cops will tend to come through my area, and what I find is they bust people who have shoplifted only a couple blocks away, and then they've come to catch the bus with their stolen merch, and they don't make it on the bus. So that happens with some frequency. Maybe this young lady just got away with it. And I've noticed other people. I mean, I guess I tend to talk about women more because they're an enigma to me. Most dudes just come up and talk to me. But I have the quiet walker, somebody who greatly interests me. Um, Another attractive white woman, maybe closer to my own age. And I think she seems open to approach, like she wants me to approach her. And she's always she doesn't ever seem to be distracted. She's not on the phone. She comes sporadically. It's not all the time. I had taken her for an unhomed person at first too, but now I'm not so sure about that. Um, and she comes around and she kind of paces and reads the signs, says hello to me, but not much else. And she tends to hang out by herself, and then she knows when her bus is going to arrive. She goes to the bench, she sits down, and she hops on, and then she's off in her own little world again, doing whatever she's doing. I wonder, well, what was she doing before that? What was she doing out here? Seems like a person I should talk to. I ought to talk to this person. They're intriguing to me, but still don't know how to approach, still don't know how to advance, how to break the ice. How about the woman who always cries? This woman, she's an older woman. William, good to see you, my friend. I'm glad you're back. I didn't want to, oh, yeah, the abortion debate was epic. No, I thought we both brought great points, and it was a great conversation. So I hope if we have that to take from it, we move forward from there. And it's such a sensitive topic for everybody because it goes into so many just traumatic issues and shit we have to deal with, and responsibility and stuff. Um, Big love, my friend. The woman who always cries, and when I say this, I mean when she comes to me, she always cries, and she's not necessarily always actually crying, like the physical tears. But every time this person approaches me, she's like an older Asian woman. It's about the same issue. And I think the issue is her issue, right? Because the schedule has changed at some point over the last 3 or 5 months or something. And she has not yet adjusted to the fact that the bus schedule has changed. And so she shows up reliably late for the same bus every few days or so and comes to me because I happen to be standing there in a uniform and says, "What's going on with this bus? Why isn't this bus coming?" I look at the bus schedule. I say, "The bus isn't scheduled." And she says, "Can you call a supervisor?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'll do that for you right away." And then I find some way to just, but no, like, really, should I just tell this woman, like, the bus does not come at that time? I'm sorry. Like, but when she's very distressed about this, I don't know. It's kind of like really, really difficult to figure out what I'm supposed to do. Am I actually supposed to call somebody else to explain this to her? Because she's not listening to me. I don't know. Because I feel really bad for her because she seems to be in distress. But I'm like, is she in distress for no good fucking reason? Because she just can't accept that something she is used to has changed. And then I look at myself again and, yeah, okay, that makes a bit of sense. I guess we should just let that person vent and hope for the best for all of us. So at the end of the day, what can we do but hope for the best, prepare for the worst? I didn't stay up for a few. I think William's my only viewer right now, but you come in if you want, chat. I can. I don't have your contact info, otherwise just give you my fucking number. I give people my number all the time. I give Godless Zoe my number. Anybody can call the text now number too. Of course, don't call it while I'm streaming now because that'll fuck the stream up. But if I'm streaming from the computer, people can call into the line, but I have that on my phone at all times anyway. The ticker of doom. So many former friends become foes, fighting about nothing. Nothing, no. Well, maybe some of them have some legitimate grievances. I don't know. But yeah, that's my text now number. That's not my personal line, so I don't get calls from that line all the time. I usually silence them. Yeah, so trying to drink less, smoke less, walk more. I think that is working out. I mean, just healthy habits, better diet. Yeah, I've still got a salad and a bunch of little tomatoes in here. I'll show you my tomatoes. I got this box I've never gotten before. These are organic heirloom medley cherry tomatoes. We got like a few different colors in there going on. They all have a bit of a different, unique flavor, and some of them look like tiny little squashes. That's cool. I like snacking on tomatoes. Yeah, as we observe human behavior, looking at our own, looking at others, so that start to actually analyze it, and you start to find, strange and unexpected things. People tend to be more like you than you think they are, I guess, or something, or you're more like them than you thought you were. But, I think we pride ourselves more on the whole on our differences. Like, people tend to take pride in the way that they are different from other people, rather than focusing on how we are all very much similar. I don't want to say the same, but we are all pretty similar at the baseline. And then, of course, you have extremophiles and stuff like that. But, most of us are focused on self-preservation and happiness. And, some of us have these, deep thoughts about how people should live and, why they ought to, behave a certain way. And I guess those people are kind of philosophers. They're kind of public servants. They're kind of politicians or any flavor of whatever type of people want to work on making a better society or something. And, I think that's where we're at. What do we got? 152 subscribers? 152? Dig on that. Eighth Day, I can't remember your full name now, but Eighth Day is the newest subscriber. Looks like a cool cat. Met on the Uncle Jesus show. Recommend the Uncle Jesus show to all y'all freaks, freaks and monkeys out here, and raccoons, of course. Yeah, don't have much to say beyond that, really. Right now, just gonna go watch some other shows. Got a few YouTube notifications. Let's see. Callie King 916 is on. Mikey Famine is on. Atheist Republic released a new video about an hour ago. So, according to my notifications, that's what I got for you. I'm gonna, try to get my happy ass to bed, I guess. Oh, Ginger Nation is live. Beautiful. Well, that lets me know. We're in competition again. You motherfucker. No. And Cat, no. I'm sorry. I tried to come in just to say hi earlier on Cat's stream, and but I was out walking around and stuff, so I understand. Hopefully success. I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote that, but I did write that. Hopefully success. Living best life. What is that? I don't know. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not going to bed. In all honesty, let's be realistic. I'm not going to sleep right now. And just in spite of Ginger Nation, I'm going to keep running because I can't. Otherwise, I would just go and watch Ginger Nation if I had my Chromebook. It'd just be like, here's my beer. Alcoholic Atheist Non-Anonymous. That's AANA for y'all. No, not the same AANA. You may have heard it before, but a different one. Logic, grant me the serenity. Bob, where's Dr. Bob? Somebody bring out Dr. Bob. Hold on, we'll find him. I know he's here somewhere. For those of you that don't know, Vino is the official. It's the word for wine in almost every other culture except American. So. I need to get more Bobs for this. I feel like we, just start piling on the Bobs. And isn't that guy, the guy who actually founded AA was called, it's probably a fake name, but he was called Dr. Bob. There's Dr. Bob and Bill W. And those two guys founded Alcoholics Anonymous back in the day. And they're the ones that they write about in the books and shit. I'm glad to hear you had fun, William, because I did too. And gives us more content to look at. I guess Sammy didn't end up going on yesterday. I don't know what happened. It sounded like something might have come up. Got some shizzle in my ear whistle. Oh, it's horrible. I need to see, that's why I need to go home. My Q-tips are at home. All my shit's at home. Well, most of it, at least. My roommate's super fucking awesome, too. She's just like fucking down for whatever. She's, you bring your car here, I want to help you work on it. And I'm like, fuck. If I could get it there, that'd be great. But I have to work on it before I can get it there. There's no fucking way it's making that. I barely get it around the block. It's so squirrely. It's scary as fuck. Like, I'm afraid even to move it out of the parking space, but I know I need to. So very carefully, hazards on. I don't know. I might hit up some of these fucking meetings or something, but I still want to make sure. I had this guy come to my stop earlier, and we met, and I just knew. It's like one of those things. I got the vibe. He stopped, talked to me. I was just out and about picking up trash because I was bored, and the guy gave me props. He's like, I know what you're doing. You're doing your service. He's like, I did the same thing when I was in the military, and I'm like, yeah, I could see that. You get bored in the army too, or well, he was an Air Force guy, and he started telling me about his family, and they've been immigrants and worked their way up here, and one generation, I guess they were all pretty much a military family, but worked up from being a pretty low level on the totem pole of society to now his kids are running businesses and traveling internationally. And like, wow, that's a fucking awesome story. Like, that's amazing. And I don't know, when he looked at me at one point and I just told him, yeah, I started talking about my kids, and he started to cry a little bit, and wanted to bless me. He wasn't pushy about it. He didn't start praying over me or anything like that. He just was commending what I was doing, and giving me one of those. And I was like, okay, I totally see where this guy's coming from. And there's a lot of people that get affiliated like that, and there's just no other way to break a cycle like addiction or alcoholism without finding some type of alleviation, I guess, for the problem of why. The problem of why. It's always why. At the end of this rabbit hole, when you ask about God and the nature of life and the universe and everything, you always ask why. And you're just like a child again. And once you realize you don't have all the best answers, you say, I don't know. I don't know. Ask somebody higher. Ask some power that's higher than me, higher than you, higher than everybody else. What's the highest of high powers? Well, of course, it must be some dude from some book. I don't know. He's like a great guy in all the books, even though the books all conflict about who the dude was and what he wanted and what he said. But they're, yes, this guy, he's great. He's so great. His name is Logic. Logic, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Yes. It actually makes a good deal of sense. Things that are beyond your control. You want to control things, and people with compulsive disorders and addiction things, and I mean, they want to take control. I mean, first and foremost, the objective is always to take control of, those things around you that you feel are affecting you. And it's always more about looking inwardly to control yourself. Self-control is the most important thing. Once you control yourself, you begin to be able to actually control those things around you in such a way, at least, that you can distance yourself from environments that are not conducive to your productivity, your progress. Because if you can't distinguish between one or the other, I mean, where are you going? What are you going to do? You have no destination. You're on a train and you're heading somewhere. And then you ask the conductor, why did I get on this train? Well, obviously you were going somewhere. Do you know where you're going? I know where I'm going. Do you know where I'm going? No, you didn't tell me where you were going. How would I know where you were going? Well, you should know where I'm going. I'm on the train. Are you asking me where the train stops? No, I'm asking you where I get off. Well, in that case, where would you like to go? Well, gee, Mr. Conductor, I'm not really sure. I've always wanted to see the Nile River. Does this train stop anywhere near the Nile River? No, I'm afraid you'd have to catch an international flight in order to see the Nile River. Oh, do you know how much that costs? No, no, I don't know. You can look it up on the internet. Oh, I don't have the internet. I don't use cellular phones or anything like that because I'm afraid of 5G implanting microbats inside my nasal cavity and causing a massive COVID outbreak. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. All right. So you'd like to know when the next flight to Egypt leaves? Yeah, if you'd be so kind. Okay, why don't you let me once I stop the train, because I'm actually, I'm driving a train right now. I'll pull out my phone and I'll Google search that for you, all right? And I'll get you as close to the airport as possible. How does that sound? Oh, that sounds lovely. Sounds lovely. Great. Okay, so if you could go head back to your seat now. Passengers aren't actually allowed in the conductor's cabin. That's against the rules. But thank you very much for coming to visit me. Okay, Dr. Bob. The thing is, the thing is, this is not actually that far removed from reality. At all. At all. Go out and spend some time on your local transit, and you will find out this is not very far from the way things actually are, my man. Maybe more so in California. We got a lot of confused people running around here. They have no idea where they're going. They have no idea where they've been. On some level, it really doesn't matter. From place to place, you have no idea where your destination is, right? Because everything in the past is such a whirlwind of confusion. I had my daughter's mom call me tonight. Well, she texted me first, and then she called me, and we had kind of an interesting conversation. I told her I might call her back. We don't speak very frequently, but we're a lot more civil these days than we used to be. But how can I put this? She's going through some hardship, and I sympathize with her. But what I hear, and what I hear so frequently from people in my life, not just this person. I guess I could generalize this more and say people always come to me with the negativity, with the all this shit's fucked up, and I'm always like, I feel like I'm everybody's fucking therapist. I am not everybody's fucking therapist, and just because I'm able to fucking sympathize with you doesn't actually mean that you should come unload on me every day because I'm walking around with other people's baggage for 20 fucking years or something, and this is how I got where I am because I don't let go of that baggage. I hold on to it and I drag it around with me. I try to take it on the bus, and they say, you know what, your luggage is too big to fit in the overhead compartment or under the seat, sir. I'm afraid you're going to have to find another ride. Oh, pardon me. I'm sorry. It's actually not my stuff. I'm helping a few friends. They just had to leave this stuff with me for a while. And so could you please help me out? I really need to get to the next city with all this baggage. And they're like, no, I'm sorry, you can't ride with a load that size. You're gonna have to find another way, sir. Imagine it. Imagine it. This is often the way people operate. This is not something like extremely unique. Most people go through life doing this without ever realizing it, without ever talking about it, or it takes them more than, however long it took me. I guess I'm fortunate to say that I didn't have to, you know, walk around longer and not acknowledge this stuff and have a support group and be able to, seek out therapy and rehabilitation rather than having it forced down my fucking throat, right? But I'm privileged for that, right? Because I already had it fucking forced down my throat when I was younger and I just rejected it. And they were like, okay, because that's the way we do it here. We're like, okay, you're going to reject the force feeding. We will leave you out to starve for a while and then, see whether you will take nourishment on your own terms. Okay, that sounds somewhat reasonable. I asked William the question about letting the other passengers on our hypothetical island vessel that I don't even know if it ever actually set sail. But I'm like, these people are already passively protesting. They're on the ship, but they're just sitting there and they're like, we won't eat. We're just going to sit here until you like do what we want or give us food or I don't know. I don't know how that whole thing, maybe derailed a little bit because I'm trying to get us into the position where we're already stuck on the boat, right? In William's version, we're on the island and we have the option to be on the boat or not. And I'm like, no, I don't think you have that choice. If we had the option to be on the boat or not, then we wouldn't be having this fucking conversation. The problem is everybody's already stuck on the fucking boat. But anyway, and then you've got these peaceful protesters. They're just sitting there minding their own business, but just, withering away, starving to death, and probably wailing amongst themselves about their misery, right? Because I don't think, you know, most people are equipped to actually do the Gandhi thing and sit there and meditate. That's like a pretty fucking rare phenomenon. But okay, let's just say they're all doing that. And you're like, okay, these people are going to die eventually. They're not draining any of my resources, but I can just sit here and watch them die. Or I can just say, fuck it, and give them some of my resources because it's not going to kill me. I might lose a couple pounds, but it's not going to kill me. It certainly will kill them if they continue along the path that they're going. Do I have any compassion for this human being, or should I allow them to end themselves? And in that case, why would I have any compassion for a human being who would be born this way? Maybe, maybe it would have been better if they had never been born. I don't know. What I do know is that once people are born, they are faced with, you know, all types of experiences that are sometimes unpredictable and have, different varied effects on different individuals. And then they come to this age of maturity and they start rationalizing and then they make decisions and they make mistakes. And at some point, sure, you have to be held accountable. And I believe in free will, but at the same time, how much responsibility should be placed on each individual given the nature of their circumstances? Shouldn't we take circumstances into account and then say, okay, some individuals are going to need more? I just fucked that up. How many of these individuals are going to need a bit more assistance in getting to their destination, right? If you can't find your fucking way to the Nile River, I don't know what to tell you, sir. Go find a fucking map. Go ask somebody who works for American Airlines or something, man. I'm a fucking train conductor. I don't need to help you. Why would I help you? Who cares if you get where you're going? Figure it out. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, sir. Stop being weak and stupid. How often does that work for you? I don't know. Just my thoughts. I don't mean to be depressing if I come off that way. Maybe I'm feeling all right about it. I'm just, thinking, about these things. I mean, some of my best friends are fucking unhomed. Some of my best friends fucking eat out of the trash. I don't eat out of the trash. Personally, me, I'd fucking starve. But that's just me. I'm not going to sit here and tell other people they should fucking starve. If you're willing to eat out of the fucking trash can, do it. I'm not going to fucking judge you for it. I get pissed off with people that fucking do that and then leave the fucking garbage behind for somebody else to clean up. Like, if you're going to do that, at least fucking clean up your own goddamn mess that you made looking through the fucking trash for fucking food. Okay. I mean, we are humans and not raccoons after all, I think. But I'm not sure at this point. I think even monkeys have like some fucking level of like basic cleanliness and they're like the don't shit where you eat type of fucking thing going on, and they know not to do that, and they get shunned if they do that. So I mean, there's that. But the problem is, in the city there's not a lot of good places to dig a shitting hole, right? So it's like, where do you expect me to shit if you close all the fucking bathrooms after fucking 5 p.m. or something? Where am I supposed to shit? Hey, there's no place for me to dig a hole out here. I'm gonna shit on your fucking lawn. I mean, I could dig a hole in your lawn. Would you be more offended by me digging a hole in your lawn and then shitting in it? Or just shitting right on the top where you can scoop it up? No, what about that? Don't shit where you eat. What if you enjoy eating feces? I don't know, it's just purely hypothetical. I'm not into scat myself, but uh, some people are. It's a small group, but they're out there. I'm gonna take. I keep saying this. I'm gonna take. I'll probably do that fucking philosophy video tomorrow because I was supposed to do it this morning, I think, and did not fucking. I got totally fucking sidetracked on all the shit I have going on here. But I do need to do a philosophy video this week, and then Monday, Monday I'm gonna try and host 2 open rooms around whatever else I got going on. I'll probably spend most of the day streaming. I should have a full charge on the Chromebook and the Wi-Fi hotspot. And so I'll try to devote that time to doing a couple of long open rooms for all audiences, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube, of course. And then I want to do a series on the Homeless Brain. Try and start it up next week, where we talk about what really goes on in the minds of unhomed people and how we become scavengers and we become more like animals. In the eyes of society, we begin to be treated like animals. And, even though I now have a home, I'm still somewhere in that mindset that I don't know where I'll be next month. You know, can I maintain this home? Can I keep making my bills? Can I maintain a civil relationship with my roommates, who are awesome, by the way? I'm having an awesome relationship with my roommates so far, so I don't spoil that, right? Don't spoil that. But at the same time, same thing. I'm at work and I'm still scavenging and I'm still fucking broke. So there's a reason I'm still scavenging, because I legitimately can't afford this shit, right? And there are people out there who live differently than me, right? Who can afford these luxury items, if you can call them that I'm depriving myself of, right? And can afford to waste them, if that makes any kind of sense. And a lot of homeless people, unhomed people, even sometimes I think before we become unhomed, we already have this mentality where I don't care if you kick me out on the streets, because I will survive on the streets and I will find what I need on the streets, because people are so wasteful, they will leave enough for me to sustain myself out here that I don't even have to actually worry about where I'll get my sustenance from. And in some cases, that seems to be exactly true in the United States of America. You have a consumer society, whatever the case may be with the government, right? But when you look at the way that the markets work and that the capitalism works and consumerism, the people that are out here working their daily jobs, being pissed off about having to pay the tax man, and say that, well, if you were more frugal and worked harder, you would do better. These same people are throwing away enough commodities for other people that they are frowning upon to live off of, to sustain off of, including addiction. I've always said this, and this is how I started smoking. Tobacco smokers are the most fucking wasteful people in the world. They leave so much tobacco behind in cigarette butts and, broken fucking stoves that come out of the pack, or, oh, it got wet and I'm above that. Throw that out. And there's so much tobacco out there. I smoke snipes. I've been smoking snipes since I started smoking. I used to go out to the gay bar behind my fucking apartment, and I'd find half cigarettes out in the ashtray, and I'd just go smoke them, And I didn't. Who needs to pay for cigarettes? Smokers are so wasteful. But the same is true of all the other commodities. I find half full bottles of water or half-eaten sandwiches, or some dish that somebody took one bite out of and decided they didn't like. Luckily, a lot of the people here are mindful enough that when they do that, they don't discard it in the trash can. They try to leave it somewhere where it's readily available to somebody else to come and take. And we have a lot of that. Like, I'm in a super mindful community, and I hear there's frustration in the community that we are adopting a compassionate view and trying to home all the unhomed people that come into our community, or at least not harass them and drive them away, right? And it was within the police department, all the the city government, the higher ups, like, we're like, okay, we need to build shelters, we need to, okay, we don't want to tell people just go away. We want to be like, hey, you can have a future here, you can have a community here. Are you terrorizing people? No. Okay, well, here's some food. Do you need some water? Do you need a blanket? Because we actually have some excess resources that we can provide for you. And why wouldn't we do that? That's a human thing to do. I don't know. It's all just thoughts. And this is where I get to leave it on that positive note. Right there. Much love. Be well. As always, stay trusting and be kind. See you next time.